The court in Turkey suspended the ban on Twitter. Now, to tell us more about that, we join on the line by Aileen Cockerman, who is a columnist at Al-Ahram, Al-Awsat and Habar al-Hilal, a Middle East analyst, a peace interfaith activist, also a host of a TV program. We welcome her to the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you for availing yourself to chat to us. So we understand a court in Turkey has suspended the ban on Twitter. What was the motive behind Erdogan's placing a ban in the first place?
Actually, the government, as for Twitter, Turkey is, as you know, #1 user of Twitter in Europe. However, unlike the other countries, Twitter has no legal office or representative in Turkey. Therefore, complaints about Twitter on matters such as defamation are being judged by the court in Turkey, and court rulings are sent directly to the Twitter's main headquarters in San Francisco. It's not valid for the other European countries because Twitter has already representatives in those countries. So the problem is that none of the court rulings have been acted on by Twitter headquarters. So the Turkish government representatives warned Twitter for about 4 years, but none of the warnings have been taken into seriously. And since Twitter has no legal representative in Turkey, it gains a lot of money from Turkey, but the company pay no taxes. And since they ignore all the warnings, and since a lot of smear campaign has been going on via Twitter, especially before the elections, Prime Minister decided to take action to ban it.
Now, there may be a perception out there that there may be certain campaigns that are carrying on against the Prime Minister on Twitter, and perhaps he's fearful that he may be coming or maybe losing his power, and that is the motive behind the banning.
Actually, this is the motive, actually, because there is a great smear campaign against Prime Minister, and he thinks himself isolated. So, actually, we need to put ourselves into Prime Minister position. His telephone conversations are being listened secretly. Bugs found in his office. People he thinks as friend turned against him. There is a huge smear campaign against him. We are always come across with new tapes, with new telephone recordings. They are using this as a kind of toppling down the government with undemocratic ways. It's not a coup, it's not a military intervention, but it's kind of another way to toppling down the government. So, but Turkey is a democratic country. It's not a one-party dictatorship. We have 25 parties in election. We have secret vote system. So far, we always chose our government ourselves. And again, it's us who to choose it. So you may like the government or not, but applying the undemocratic ways is unacceptable in Turkey. But at the same time, I'm not on the side of banning Twitter as well.
Yes. So during the ban on Twitter, how did it work? Were people able to tweet at all, or were there ways to bypass the laws as such?
Actually, after a couple of minutes, we managed to reach to the Twitter from other ways. We used other DNS, and we are still using Twitter effectively right now. But, you know, actually, after the Twitter ban, our lives have not changed, and we still have no problem reaching it now. But the term banning is a very sensitive word. It ultimately creates a great distress in societies. All people are born and created free. So if you talk about banning freedom of speech, freedom of express, that makes people unhappy. Prohibitions always cause fear and anger, and unhappy societies rebel. As you may remember, the reason of Gezi Park protests is seeking more freedom and democracy in the first place. So Turkish people searching for more democracy, but such a ban ruins democracy. So it creates a great distress among Turkish people.
And how did they respond to it? Did the Turks protest even more after the ban? Did they come out onto the streets?
They didn't go out the streets again because, as you know, 2 weeks ago, we lost 3 Turkish people on streets again. And after that, there were calls from the parties, from the leaders, that you shouldn't go out to the street because there are some marginal groups who are destroying everywhere and taking benefit of the democratic protests. You need to stay home and make our intellectual struggle via social media. And as you know, we can still use Twitter, and they send more tweets about they express their feelings about ban, but of course I must say that there's a great defamation, disinformation, which has been carried out by the international media. It's also not so well, because they confuse Turkey with China right now.
Yes.
It is not true. Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of this ban, it has been lifted, as I understand. So does that mean that now people are able to use Twitter as normal? Has the ban been totally lifted?
Yes, we can use the Twitter normally.
In terms of that anti-prime minister campaigns that you were speaking about, and them using social media. So is there a genuine fear? Is Erdogan fearful that he may lose his position, may lose power?
Actually, he doesn't think losing a kind of power, I guess. He is just furious and upset. He thinks he was betrayed. He always says that I trusted those people, but they betrayed me. He always say during his rallies. This is kind of a devastation for him. As you may already know, he considered Gülen community as a parallel construction. He thinks that they are responsible for all illegal recordings. He's struggling against all these by himself, and he does not get any real support even from his own party, and also he blames opposition to be the supporters of Gülen movement. So this creates a great distress on him, and that's why he tried to keep his position alive. He does not want people to see him as weak.
On the whole, how is Turkey doing? Is it moving forward in terms of its influence in the region?
The region is, as you know, Turkey is in a very weird situation. It's not like other countries. In our southern border, there is Syrian war. Just beside that, Iraq, where Al-Qaeda keep bombing. In the north, we have Crimea and Ukraine. There are Turks out there we need to protect, and we need to consider the uprising of the Ukraine affected the Turkish economy. We have PKK in our territory, and as you know, a Syrian jet has been hit lately by Turkish army. So it's complicated. There is rumors of war. I hope this will not happen at all.
Very interesting, the developments from Turkey. We'll continue chatting to you. We appreciate your time on Radio Islam. And we'll be monitoring the situation in Turkey very closely. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for chatting to us. Until we chat again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.